What's up everybody, my name's Andy and welcome back to Kit Guru. So it's 2022 and live streaming is bigger than ever. But if you're thinking about getting started, then you're probably being held back by the huge outlay and cost to get up and running. Well, currently it is generally considered that Elgato is your best bet for reliable streaming equipment. However, they're anything but cheap at £150 to £200 per item. So Elgato products are very good. I've reviewed many of their items here at Kit Guru, but I'd say that they are aimed at already established streamers rather than beginners. In comes Streamplify. The name says it all, right? So Streamplify is a brand new company straight out of Germany, and their sole purpose is to offer affordable live streaming products specifically for those on a tight budget or just starting out. So today I'll be showing you how to set up the items and OBS Studio and then express my thoughts on them at the end. We're going to check out all 6 of the launch products whilst asking the question, is budget gear actually good enough? So let's find out. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more awesome tech videos from us here at Kit Guru. The items we're going to be looking at today are the Cam, a full HD 60fps webcam at $59.99. The mic arm, an RGB USB condenser microphone with included boom arm at $69.95. The mic tripod, the same RGB microphone but this time on a desk tripod at $59.99. The Light 10, a 10-inch ring light on a desk tripod with phone clamp and camera mount for just $19.99. The Light 14, a 14-inch ring light on a larger tripod with phone or camera mount at $64.99. And finally, the Screen Lift, a 2-meter tall by 1.5-meter wide hydraulic green screen at $129.95. On top of being able to purchase these items individually, they also offer free bundles. The starter bundle at $129.95, which includes the cam, the mic tripod and Light 10. The Pro bundle at $199.99, which includes the cam, the mic arm, the Light 10 and the Light 14. And the complete bundle at $329.95, which includes the cam, the mic arm, the Light 10, the Light 14 and the Screen Lift. So let's take a look at each of the items individually and then I'll show you how to use them all together using the broadcast software OBS Studio, and then we'll take a look at some examples using my entire setup, and finally I'll express my thoughts. So starting off with the mic tripod, inside the box we get a pop shield, a shock mount, a USB-C to USB-C cable and a USB-C to USB-A cable, the microphone itself and a desk tripod stand. So straight away I'm glad to see that dedicated pop shield and shock mount. You don't often see these bundled in with USB microphones and are often additional purchases. The pop shield is there to stop plosives from clipping in your audio, and the shock mount is there to absorb unwanted vibrations from hitting the microphone's capsule. It's easy enough to assemble, which is excellent. Feed the pop shield over the base of the microphone and then place the microphone inside the shock mount and screw the base up tightly. You can then screw the desk tripod stand into the mount and you have some adjustments to angle the microphone too. The stand is pretty simple, a small metal tripod, but it works well and has large leg span, so it's quite stable. The mic itself feels nice. I love the black design, and we do have some controls here too. We have a large volume wheel on the front. Pressing this in mutes the microphone too. Underneath we have a button that cycles through some RGB LED colors, and yes, you can set them to off too. Underneath that we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. There's no software needed at all, it's simply plug and play via the included detachable USB cables. This is a condenser microphone with a cardioid pickup pattern, and this means it's a sensitive microphone and can pick up a wide frequency range. The cardioid pickup pattern means it aims to pick up sounds in front of it whilst aiming to reject sounds from behind it. We'll hear how it sounds later on. Next up is the mic arm kit. Here we get absolutely absolutely everything that we get in the tripod kit, but instead of the desk tripod stand, we get a scissor style microphone arm and clamp. Simply put the clamp onto the side of your desk and then slot the arm in. The microphone's shock mount attaches onto the end, and then you can position it wherever you like. I always recommend using a mic arm if possible, as it does help to reduce unwanted vibrations even further and lets you get the microphone closer to your subject, which means you can reduce the microphone's gain and often get a cleaner audio result. The arm itself is fine, but it is one of the more budget arms available, and you can find these on Amazon for around £10 each. And since the mic tripod kit is £10 less, I'd probably buy that one and then buy a cheap microphone arm from Amazon, as that way you get both the desk stand option and the microphone arm. Taking a look at the cam, inside the box we get a desk stand and the webcam itself with a non-detachable USB-A cable. The desk stand is very budget and it simply screws into the base of the webcam. It's quite flimsy and small with a small ball head on the top to adjust, but despite its low quality, at least there's one included if you didn't want the webcam above your monitor. The webcam does have a built-in privacy shutter that you can move left or right to hide or unhide the lens. Underneath it, we have a standard webcam monitor clamp that rests above your monitor. It can be adjusted too. The main features of the webcam are a 2 megapixel sensor that can capture video at 1080p 60 FPS. It does have autofocus too, with a 90-degree field of view. What's nice to see on a more budget webcam is the inclusion of a glass lens rather than plastic that we usually get, and this should give us a nicer image. There's no software here either, it's simply plug and play. It has got inbuilt microphones too, so let's have a quick look at the quality of the image and the audio. Okay, so this is the webcam test. We're just sort of testing this in a natural environment. What I have on is the ring light, so this one just here, the smaller ring light, and I have it quite dim because otherwise if I put the brightness up too much, well then it overexposes. So let's just check that out. Let's put the brightness up, and you can see now that I'm totally blown out. Now, it doesn't really look like the camera's trying to adapt for that because there's just simply too much light there. So if we bring the light back down, that's on minimum settings. And if I turn it off, that's what it's like. It's quite dark in here, I must admit, so it's doing quite well at lighting the scene. I have a small window just on this side and I have a larger one up over there in the corner. But I think it does pretty well. I think it looks a little bit better with a bit of light on me. It still could be a bit dimmer, but that's as dim as the light goes. Now this is the microphone test for this as well. We have a microphone on the left-hand side and one on the right. And if I shut the webcam guard, well then it should stop the microphones from picking up. And there we go. So you shouldn't have been able to hear me then. We'll see on the test back. But now you should be able to hear me, fingers crossed. Now one thing I did want to test is that this light here, the ring light, works absolutely fine. And as you can see, there's no flickering. However, I'm in a PAL region. So what that means is our power is 50 Hertz, whereas an NTSC region, like America, for example, is a 60 Hertz region. And I want to test the shutter speed on this webcam. So I'm going to turn this light off because I believe this ring light here is a 60 Hertz panel. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go and run and put the light on in this room, and let's see if it starts flickering. Yes, it does. So you can see that there's sort of flickering all through the image. I know the lighting's horrendous because it's quite a bright light up there, but that's just like a standard LED 50 Hertz light bulb essentially. So yes, we have a bit of an issue here. There's no settings that you can change on the camera. So if you're in a PAL region like the UK, well then you probably don't want to be putting your standard lights on, and something like this would be much better suited because that is actually going to be at the right frequency of the shutter speed for the webcam, and that's going to stop that sort of horrible flickering. But anyway, let's take a sort of listen back to this and see what our thoughts are on the audio front. As with all webcams I've ever tested, the inbuilt microphones are pretty poor. They're not the worst I've heard, but you know, I would say they're usable to an extent. But I do always recommend using a dedicated microphone when possible. The image quality on the other hand is absolutely fine when used with natural lighting or 60Hz NTSC lights like the Ring Light 10 that we used during our test. Sadly, you do get flickering with 50Hz power region lights, and this can't be avoided. As we use the Light 10 in the webcam test, let's look at that next. Inside the box we get a desk stand, a small ball head mount, a bendable extension that the phone holder pops onto, and then the light itself. The phone holder and the ball head can be screwed into the center of the ring light if you want to place your phone or camera there. The tripod desk stand does feel very budget, but at least it has an adjustable, lockable ball head on the top so that you can angle it any way you wish. The legs do have extensions too if you want to raise it up from 20cm to 25cm. The light itself has a controller box on the USB cable, and this lets you turn the light on, adjust 10 brightness settings up or down to a maximum of 480 lumens, which for a relatively small and inexpensive light is acceptable. You can also change the Kelvin from warm, cool or daylight settings. I must admit it all feels pretty budget, but remember this kit is actually under £20, and for that I think it's acceptable. The Light 14 is over 3 times the price of the Light 10, coming in at $64.99, and here we do get a few extras. This time we get a power cable, a ball head with a screw in the base, a ball head with a cold shoe mount, a flexible phone holder, a rigid phone holder, and a remote control, which sadly doesn't come included with the required 2 AAA batteries, and that did frustrate me quite a bit, I must admit. We also get a larger tripod that is very easy to use with quick release clamps. It also goes very tall too at 170cm. With the light attached, it is much taller than me, and I'm around 5'11". This light now has touch sensitive controls on the front with adjustable brightness to a whopping 2250 lumens and adjustable color temperature from 3000 Kelvin to 6000 Kelvin. There are also multiple cold shoe mounts in the center of the light, and this lets you attach multiple devices simultaneously if you wish. The center cold shoe mount also has a thread underneath to attach the threaded ball head accessory to. What I did like was on the back of the light there's 2 USB charging ports to plug your phone into if you are filming content that way. As with all of the products, it is budget in feel, but in operation it actually works as it should, and you do get everything you would need inside the package. Lastly, we have the screen lift. This thing is absolutely huge at 1.5 meters wide, but for what it is, it's actually very compact. Starting off, we have 4 wheels inside the box and a small wrench. You can spin the legs out from the base of the screen to act as a stand. All you have to do is screw the wheels in here, and it was quite fiddly because the included wrench is so small and thin. However, it was possible and I did manage to do it. I like that the wheels are lockable though, so if you're on a wooden floor, the screen won't be rolling away from you. This is the simplest piece of kit in operation, and I absolutely love the design. You lift the 2 latches on the front, grab the handle and gently raise the screen anywhere you like, and it will stay in place. It has a maximum height of 2 meters, which is huge, so if you want to be a weather broadcaster, well, you can stand in front of it. I love that you don't have to raise it all the way either. Putting it down is just as easy, simply lower it back in place. The hydraulic mechanism is super smooth, and Streamplify rate it having a 30,000 lift life cycle. The fabric used on the green screen itself is very good quality with a perfectly even colour. It also remains taut too, which is exactly what you want in a green screen, otherwise you can get patching when you're chroma keying the background out. First impressions are excellent, and yes, it is the most expensive product at $129.95, but you're getting a great bit of kit for that. Now let's set everything up in our broadcasting software, OBS Studio. If you want a complete guide to setting a stream up and how to stream games, I have made 2 in-depth guides that you can find here on KitGuru's channel. I've set the screen lift up behind where I'll be sitting, placed both ring lights on either side of me, plugged my microphone in and placed the webcam above my monitor too. So firstly, open up OBS Studio. I've already added a background by right-clicking in Sources and adding an image. image. Let's add our microphone by right-clicking Sources, selecting Audio Input Capture, and then selecting our Streamplify microphone. You can see it working in the audio mixer. Next, let's add our camera by right-clicking the Sources menu and adding a video capture device and then selecting the Streamplify cam. I've left it on device default, but you can adjust these settings if you want to. Click on the image to move it and resize it. I've cropped the image in to show only myself and the green screen area by holding Alt and then dragging the left side in. Now let's remove the green screen. So let's right click the video capture device, select filters, add effect filters and select chroma key. This should automatically select the best settings, but if not, then you can adjust the sliders to get the best results. Once done, click close. Here's two examples that I've recorded to test the webcam, lights, screen, and microphone. In the second example, I changed the placement of the lights to show you how to get better results from the webcam image. Hello, okay, so here we go. Here's the sort of test of all of this put together. So this is the Streamplify, all of the gear from Streamplify all together. So we've got the microphone here, we're using the webcam, we've got the two ring lights, we do have two, but of course you could just turn one off, so there you go, there's one off. I mean, it kind of messes up the lighting a little bit. I would say it's kind of better with both, and then you can just turn down the brightness on them so that you're not so blown out. But this is the microphone test. I am maybe about 7 or 8 inches away from the microphone. That should be okay. If I come a bit closer and sort of talk a little bit less or a little bit quieter, then that's probably a little bit better in terms of quality. But most people are probably going to be sat around this sort of distance. Again, if you had the scissor arm, you could probably have it a little bit closer because you can angle it towards you. But that's kind of the microphone test. So hopefully the microphone will be good. We shall listen back and then discuss it afterwards. But of course, the green screen is doing really well, to be perfectly honest. You do need to worry about patches. So if I bring the lights up really, really bright, there we go. I know I'm blown out, but you can see sort of areas of the green screen that start getting... oh, it's not doing it right now. Let's put the other light really bright as well, if I can. As bright as it goes. And let's change that over. It's actually coping quite well. Yeah, it's doing quite well. Even though I'm now completely blown out, it's actually doing quite well, because usually green screens will get sort of like spotting on them. So the actual green screen behind will get a reflection, basically a bit of glare from these lights, and then that will cause a big green area that might make the green screen a little bit unnatural looking, and you would get patches that aren't actually green screen properly, or chroma keyed is the correct term. But I think this actually looks pretty good. I mean, as you can see, I'm against this lovely Kit Guru background just here, and you know, other than a tiny bit of green around me, which unfortunately is just going to happen with the green screen anyway, I actually think this is done really well. There's no patching if I move my arms around. So there you go. That's the test of all of it, really. There we go. Okay, so I did just want to show that the webcam can look a little bit better than my previous test that I showed, because I was really blown out just there and I wasn't quite happy with it, and it's mainly because of the light placement. So what I've done now is I've put the tripod for the large ring light on top of my desk and then extended it as high as it can go and put it as low brightness as it can go, and then I've put the other one just a little bit further out as well, and that's kind of stopped me from being blown out on my face and especially on my forehead, as the footage that you saw a minute ago was. And I think this looks a lot better, at least, than what I just showed you a second ago, and I think this is totally usable. I think this is actually really good. And you've got to bear in mind, when you're live streaming a game or something like that, you're probably only going to be about this sort of size in the corner, and then you're most likely going to have, you know, a game being played just here, or maybe you're looking at stuff, or, you know, going through web pages or videos or whatever it may be. This is the kind of size that you're actually going to be sort of streaming at, and I think it looks really good. I'd actually say it's kind of, I would be hard pushed to see the difference from this than maybe a higher quality webcam. And that's saying something, I think, especially in this sort of format, in this small sort of area in the corner here. I think this is very, very good quality for the price point. First of all, I'm very happy with the microphone quality. There's no plosives and it captures my voice frequencies very well. I honestly wasn't expecting the quality to be as good as it was, and that was without any post-processing, simply plug and play. I think the webcam looked great in the second example where I moved the light position. It looked much more natural without being overexposed, and yet the green screen held up perfectly. The green screen worked flawlessly in all lighting conditions, and the lights were very easy to adjust brightness or temperature, as well as the physical placement of them with the included stands. Overall, yes, the quality of the items do feel budget physically, and yes, they do lack the features you will find from, say, Elgato's items, but in use, I do think that everything worked as intended and worked well too. When you think almost everything from Elgato is between £150 to £200 per piece, and everything from Streamplify is actually under £100 other than the screen lift, I think Streamplify have managed to hit their goals and promises of making affordable streaming gear that works perfectly for those just starting out or on a tight budget. So what do you think of the Streamplify gear? Will you be getting any? Is this exactly what you've been after, or is it not for you? Let us know down in the comments. Make sure to check out our website daily, check out our merchandise as well, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'm Andy, this is Kit Guru. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.